I want to get a firm understanding from you about what is and what is not subject to not just tariffs currently, but potential tariffs come the beginning of next year.
Well, from Linamar's perspective, more than 90% of our sales have absolutely no tariff on them this year. And that has been the case for some time. So we are being impacted a little bit on that less than 10% of our sales that has a tariff, but the vast majority of sales do not have a tariff. And even this latest round of tariffs, the 338 tariffs that were enacted last week, do not impact our industry. The retaliatory tariffs, we also believe, will not be impacting us due to exemptions that are in place for manufacturing in certain sectors. So we feel we're in as good a position as we could be at the moment.
What about tariffs on actually cars and trucks? Because that's the end product for what your products go and build. And I'm curious if this hits your customers, then that certainly affects your business in a certain way. So are there knock-on effects, even if your specific products aren't affected, but the end product is?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if our customers are being impacted by tariffs, that has a negative long-term impact on pricing because nobody can absorb tariffs forever. So in the end, it all ends up flowing down to the consumer, which is not a good thing, right? If consumer prices go up for vehicles, then that could negatively impact demand and result in lower production in the industry. So that's obviously a threat for the overall industry, even if the parts suppliers are not seeing tariffs.
Again, just to clarify, because there are a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of back and forth between the US and Canada here. We did hear earlier this week from the President of the United States, who said that on January 1st, 2027, tariffs on all cars, trucks, both large and small, automotive parts and steel will be increased 50%. Does that increase to 50%? Will that, if there is not an agreement reached between now and the end of the year, will those tariffs affect your company?
Yeah, I mean, up until the moment and until this latest potential tariff, there has been no tariff on auto parts. So if a tariff is imposed on auto parts as of January, it will obviously have a big impact on the industry. I mean, the industry is incredibly integrated from a supply chain perspective across really all three countries, not just Canada and the US, but also Mexico. But I mean, just Canada and the US, I mean, we've had free trade in automotive with the US since the mid-1960s. I mean, this is decades and decades of supply chain integration. So parts are going back and forth over the border 6, 7, or more times. To incur a tariff at each border crossing will cripple the industry. It'll bring it to its knees. So, I mean, I understand it's a powerful threat that the president is bringing to bear, but the negative impact to the industry, the vast majority of employment of which is in the United States, will be very negatively impacted. So I think that certainly the U.S. administration is going to need to give very careful consideration before they decide to impose such tariffs, just because of the blowback on their own country and their own businesses and workers.
So at what point would tariffs affect production on your end? What's your take on that after all we've been talking about, all we've been hearing you talk about?
Yeah, if tariffs are imposed on auto parts, and this is a position I've held for since tariffs first started to be bandied about, at the beginning of this administration, it would be a matter of weeks before the industry would be on its knees. In my opinion, it would shut down within a matter of weeks.
Wow.
Have you heard anything from companies, the automaker, the car companies? Have you heard anything from them? Are they thinking of changing plans? Have you heard anything?
Absolutely not. Okay. I mean, our type of product in our industry are highly engineered products. They're products that you spend years tooling up, and getting qualified for with your customers. Significant amounts of testing required to make sure that they're meeting requirements around safety, around performance, around a whole variety of aspects. So this isn't something you can say, oh, I'm going to buy this transmission component or driveline component from somebody else tomorrow. Just not possible. This is a multi-year endeavor. So we've heard nothing at the moment. I mean, this is a very newly suggested threat that has been thrown out there. I personally think that we will come to an agreement before then. I mean, I think we were very close last week. There were, a few wrenches thrown in the works at the last minute. I have a lot of confidence that we will come to an agreement before the end of the year, simply because we are so reliant on each other. Americans on Canadians, Canadians on Americans. We have decades, frankly, centuries of interaction and commerce that we have done together. There's just too much at stake to not find a way to address concerns that either country might have with the trade relationship. I firmly believe that solutions are available and will be reached before the end of the year.
Yeah, we hear what you're saying, Linda, from lawmakers too, governors in states that border Canada and governors that do understand the importance of the relationship between the U.S. and Canada. We're speaking with Linda Hasenfratz, the executive chair of the auto parts supplier Linamar. She joins us from Guelph, Ontario. Among your biggest customers, Ford Motor, General Motors, Volkswagen, Stellantis, Mercedes-Benz. I mean, you sell that to everybody at this point. When we talk to executives at many different types of companies, what they tell us about this environment is it's less about, the actual back and forth when it comes to trade policy, and more about the instability of an environment where it seems like rules and regulations can change very quickly. As executive chair at Linamar, what do you want to see, not just from the Canadian government, but from the U.S. government as well, just to make it easier for you to do business?
Well, I mean, I obviously would love to see us come to a resolution between our countries, also with respect to the USMCA agreement and any changes that are being considered in that regard to see that agreement further strengthened. I mean, it is already a very robust agreement that is working exceptionally well for all three countries. So anything we can do to make that stronger would be great. But frankly, to think that we can operate, that we're going to suddenly go back to operating in this more predictable world, that just might not happen. I think that from our perspective, from my perspective and our executive team, our focus is how do we operate? How do we continue to operate and thrive in a dynamic environment? Because I think things are going to be dynamic for a while. So, things aren't predictable, and we need to develop strategies that are flexible, that are nimble, equipment that's flexible, people that are flexible in their capabilities, so we can pivot where the markets are going and take advantage of opportunities, frankly, that are created when there is, uncertainty and turmoil around you. That's been our focus, not a hope that, we're somehow going to go back to some level of predictability, but instead, let's adopt a strategy. And I feel like we absolutely have a culture that's well suited to handling a dynamic, volatile environment, so that we can, instead of worrying about where things are going, simply react to opportunities as they present, and be positioned strategically and in terms of how we're structured to be able to take advantage of that. I think that's what companies that are going to thrive over the next decade need to do: be flexible, be nimble, be innovative, focus on your balance sheet, and be commercially astute.
All right, Lyndon, the last 30 seconds we have, I'm going to put you on the spot. If you could sit down with President Trump and Prime Minister Carney, what would you tell them that they are thinking wrong about the North American auto market? What are they? How are they not thinking about it the right way?
Well, I think number one, the Canada-U.S. trade relationship is not broken. I mean, when you look at Canada exports, $450 billion worth of goods to the U.S. exports $425 billion of product into Canada. Like, we have a balanced trading relationship. This is not the problem. Let's identify what are the irritants. Let's fix them. Let's keep working together, because it's a big world out there, and we're a lot stronger when we approach it together than we try to do so in a fragmented way.